words of our Divine Mother from the book Words of the Mother, Volume 14, page 29, topic The Path. Our Divine Mother says, the mountain path leads always into two directions, upward and downward. All depends on what we put behind us. Our Divine Mother says, life is a perpetual choice between truth and falsehood, light and darkness, progress and regression, the ascent towards the heights, or a fall into the abyss. It is for each one to choose freely. In each one's life, a moment comes when he has to choose between the path and the muddle. You cannot put one foot here and one foot there. If you try to, you will be torn to pieces. A heart that does not choose is a heart that will die. You take the spiritual path only when you feel you cannot do otherwise. When the path is known, it is easy to tread upon it. To follow the path to the end, one must be armed with a very patient endurance. Our Divine Mother says, on the spiritual path, one step forward is a conquest and the result of a fight. The road to the divine, always long, often dry in appearance, but always abundant in its results. Our Divine Mother says, ascension, stage by stage, one climbs towards the consciousness. Spiritual ascension, fearless, regular, uninterrupted. One will pass through as many stages as it is necessary to take, but one will arrive. The intellectual attitude comes first and practice follows little by little. What is very important is to maintain very alert the will to live and to be what one knows to be the truth. Then it is possible to stop and even more to fall back. All human beings have a spiritual destiny which is near or far depending on each one's determination. One must will in all sincerity. All depends upon the choice of the force that you allow to make use of you as its instrument, and the choice has to be made at every moment of your life. It is the conflict in you between what is attached to the ordinary life and what aspires for the divine life. It is up to you to choose which is the strongest in you and to act accordingly. You can follow the meanderings of innumerable reincarnations or choose the steep and rapid path of intensive sadhana. He who follows the steep path that climbs the heights can easily slip down into the abyss. For those whose destiny is to scale the summits, the least false step risk being a mortal danger. The perfect path for each one, the path which leads fastest to the divine. Our Divine Mother says, all was gold and gold and gold, a torrent of golden light pouring down in an uninterrupted flow and bringing with it the consciousness that the path of the gods is a sunlit path in which difficulties lose all reality. Such is the path open before us if we choose to take it. Next topic, yoga. Our Divine Mother says, sadhak is one who follows a yogic discipline. Sadhana is the yogic discipline one sadhak follows. Yoga is the union with the divine. By extension, the path which leads to the union with the divine is yoga. Question, Divine Mother, would you please explain to me how doing yoga brings you near to the divine, and what is the real meaning of yoga? Is it only contortive body exercises, or is there a yoga of the mind also? For this, our mother says, this has nothing to do with the spiritual life, not even with the religion. X will explain to you in detail, but I can tell you that yoga is not only an aspiration of the mind towards the divine, but also and chiefly a yearning of the heart. The whole world is in a process of progressive transformation. If you take the discipline of yoga, you speed up in yourself the process. Yoga is commensurate with all life. True spirituality transforms life. Next topic, the integral yoga. Subtopic, the three conceptions of the world. Our Divine Mother gives the first one, Buddhist and the Shankarite. The world is an illusion, a field of ignorance and suffering due to ignorance. The one thing to do is to get out of it as soon as possible and to disappear into the original non-existence or non-manifestation. The Vedantic gave a different approach. The Vedantic, as very commonly understood, the world is essentially divine, for the divine is omnipresent there, but its exterior expression is distorted, obscure, ignorant, perverted. The one thing to do is to become conscious of the inner divine and remain fixed in that consciousness without troubling about the world. For this external world cannot change and will be always in its natural state of unconsciousness and ignorance. Sri Aurobindo's view, the world as it is not the divine creation it is meant to be, but an obscure and perverted expression of it. It is not the expression of the divine consciousness and will, but this is what it is meant to become. It has been created to develop into a perfect manifestation of the divine under all his forms and aspects of light and knowledge, power, love, and beauty. This is our conception of it and the aim we follow. 24th Feb 1936. The usual sadhana, says our Divine Mother, the usual sadhana have for aim the union with the Supreme Consciousness, which is Satchit Ananda, and those who reach, they are satisfied with their own liberation and leave the world to its unhappy plight. On the contrary, Sri Aurobindo's sadhana starts where the others end. Once the union with the Supreme is realized, one must bring down that realization to the exterior world and change the conditions of life upon earth until a total transformation is accomplished. In accordance with this aim, the sadhaks of integral yoga do not retire from the world to lead a life of contemplation and meditation. Each one must devote at least 1/3 of his time to a usual work. All activities are represented in the ashram and each one chooses the work most congenial to his nature, but must do it in a spirit of service, unselfishness, keeping always in view the aim of integral transformation. To make this purpose possible, the ashram is organized so that all its inmates find their reasonable needs satisfied and have not to worry about their sustenance. The rules are very few so that each one can enjoy the freedom needed for his development, but a few things are strictly forbidden. They are politics, smoking, alcoholic drink, and sex enjoyment. Great care is taken for the maintenance of good health and welfare and the normal growth of the body of all, small and big, young and old. What we are doing now, says our mother, what we are doing now is a new thing. It has nothing to do with the past. We want the divine conquest of this world, the conquest of all its moments and the realization of the divine here. It can be called an adventure because it is the first time that a yoga aims at transformation and divinization of physical life instead of escape from it. We want to translate into physical terms as perfectly as possible the inspiration sent by the Lord for the accomplishment of His work upon earth, and for that each individual soul is a help and a collaborator. but each human ego too is a limitation and an obstacle. To those who want to practice integral yoga, it is strongly advised to abstain from three things: sexual intercourse, smoking, and drinking alcohol. The more I go, the more I know that it is in the work that Sri Aurobindo's integral yoga is best done. It is not what you do, but the spirit in which you do it that is important for the integral yoga. These are the divine words of our sweet divine mother.